I know. Yeah, I know that sucked. My mic was off. Can you hear me now? Whatever. Welcome back in, y'all, and happy Truth Teller Tuesday to every single one of you settling into your seat, adjusting your headset, probably wishing maybe, you hadn't been here. But that was silly. I'm trying a new way of doing this, and it's just not working, is it? Oh, well, whatever. We're going to do it again anyway. So, welcome back in, y'all. Happy Truth Teller Tuesday to every single one of you. You know, I say, I hope you're prepared mentally for today, because this kind of honesty today is about demand. Okay. I say demand because Truth Teller Tuesday doesn't politely invite you into the truth. It drags it out of the shadows. It sits right next to you and says, go on, deal with it. This isn't Monday Petty Monday. That's where we laugh at the chaos we got ourselves into. Okay. This is not Wednesday, where we question the world. Today is the day where we stop tiptoeing. I mean, we don't need to be tiptoeing around the obvious anymore. We're going to stop editing our feelings to make other people more comfortable. And listen, we got to stop pretending that we don't know exactly what's eating at us. Okay. Truth may not always be gentle. It may not always be convenient, but it will always, always set you free if you let it. Okay. And let me tell you something before we even dive into the story today. Okay. Most of us don't avoid the truth because it's scary. We avoid it because it's accurate. We avoid the rug, or I'm sorry, my dog is distracting me now. Oh, what a day. We avoid it because once you say it out loud, you can't unknow it, right? You can't tuck it back under the rug. You can't pretend it didn't show up. And there's something about that moment that moment where your spirit goes, girl, you already know. That hits you right in the chest, not because you didn't see it coming, but because you've been running from it while calling it being busy or being patient or being understanding. Choosing peace, or I guess my personal favorite is timing just isn't right. Baby, the timing is never right for the truth, okay? It arrives when it damn well pleases, and it sits down like it paid rent. You know that's true. And if we're really being honest, okay, a lot of the truths that we're wrestling with aren't new truths at all. They're old ones we've been refusing to deal with. They're memories that we've repackaged as life experience. Pardon me. Now, they're patterns we've renamed. How am I? Just, how am I? They're warnings that we've softened into suggestions. And because life is funny like that, the same truth will keep circling back, tapping you on the shoulder, whispering in your ear, and tripping you into the same spot over and over again until you finally stop and say, all right, I hear you. That's what this show is for. This is where we stop running. No more running. This is where we stop spinning the story and where we stop protecting people from the consequences of how they made us feel. Now, I don't know who needs this already. Some of y'all have been carrying a truth so heavy your spirit is limping. You've been holding on to something that stopped serving you a long time ago, a friendship that's been dead but still sitting upright like a prop, a relationship held together with duct tape and hope, a, a job that drains you, a habit that numbs you, a dream you keep shelving because you're afraid of embarrassing yourself if you fail. But here's the thing about truth, okay? It does not punish you. It liberates you. Truth comes to break chains, not hearts. The hurt comes from resisting it, from not accepting the truth, okay? And let's go ahead and talk about something real quick. A lot of people think they want honesty until they realize honesty requires accountability. It requires looking at the role we play. It really requires admitting that sometimes the person we've been protecting most is ourselves. Sometimes we were the one who ignored the red flag, or we were the one who let someone talk to us like we didn't matter. We were the one who said yes when we really meant no. The ones who laughed while really unaliving on the inside. I guess I should say it that way. We were the ones who let fear hold the wheel. Okay. And I'm not saying that with judgment, never with judgment. I'm saying it with love. Okay. Because you can't grow from a lie you keep calling the truth. What I love about this Truth Teller Tuesday is what I'm starting. What I love about this, okay, is this is going to be one of those few places where you don't pretend you always get it right. I don't want to pretend I'm always getting it right. I never get it right in my book, but that's the standard I hold for myself too. You got to remember that too. Don't look. I'm not going to pretend I'm always right or wrong or wise, or I'm not going to pretend anything here. We don't pretend we're above the mess, and we sure don't pretend we're not petty sometimes or naive sometimes, even stubborn sometimes. Okay? Flat out wrong sometimes. It's true. Here, you're allowed to show up as the person that you actually are. Okay? Layered, complex, imperfect, brilliant, flawed, emotional, tired, hopeful, scared. All of that because you're still trying anyway. All of that because you're still trying anyway. Hi, Blood Sister. It's okay. I love you anyway. I love you no matter what. Very good to see you, honey. Oh, we're putting some truth down today, Plus Sister. So, look, I know some of you listening right now have been carrying truths you're scared will hurt somebody if you say them out loud. But keeping the truth inside you is what's hurting you more. Get your scale out, please. Because this is giving you headaches. This is draining your energy. It's literally turning you into somebody you don't recognize. You don't owe anyone a performance. You don't owe anyone a watered down version of your story. You certainly don't owe anyone a lie to make them feel comfortable. Your truth does not need permission to exist. It already does. What you owe yourself is acknowledgement, okay? What you owe yourself is peace. Remember that word? You definitely owe yourself room to breathe. Remember how that used to feel? Listen, let me tell you something hard, okay? Forgive me. I know not everybody's going to like to hear this, And I am not a professional. This is just my opinion. But when you finally tell the truth, some people will act like you betrayed them. But the only thing you betrayed was the illusion that they built. Okay? You didn't break the peace. You revealed the tension that was already there. You didn't cause the problem, you named it. And weak people can't handle truth because truth removes the excuses they've been living behind. Sorry, Truth Tuesday. Don't let anyone shame you for being the one willing to speak that what everyone else knows but refuses to say. Listen, you guys, wherever you're watching from today, okay, your living room, your job, your car, hiding in the bathroom because your house is loud and almost like me, and this is the only quiet space you've got, I want you to know this, you made it to the right place, okay? You made it to the right moment. You definitely made it to the right conversation. And if you're uncomfortable right now, that's a good sign. That means something in you is waking up. Something I just said is waking you up. And this is just the intro. It means, something is really shifting and stretching. Preparing to let go of the old version of yourself that you settled for confusion, silence, and half truths. You know what? You're allowed to grow past the places and the people that taught you to stay small. I know lots of people that are like that. And before we move into today's truth teller tale, let me leave you with this too. The truth you are scared to say out loud is the exact truth that will set you free. You will breathe easier once you stop carrying the weight of pretending. You will sleep deeper once you stop battling the story in your head. You will love harder once you stop protecting things that drain you. And you will walk lighter once you stop dragging the past into your present. Leave it there. It's got a place back there, not here. Today is your permission slip to be honest. You have my permission. Okay? If you are waiting for it, there it is. You have my permission. Be honest with yourself. First and foremost. The world second. It's you first. Okay? So, now that we're settled into the Truth Teller Tuesday energy, let me take a moment to ease us into the story that we set the tone for my whole week. Every Tuesday, I intend to tell y'all a tale from real life, not a letter, not a message someone sent in, not anybody else's drama, but something that happened to me that pulled a truth out of the shadows and slapped it right across my forehead, whether I was ready or not. I think it needs to be more personal. And maybe if I tell y'all a little bit of my stories, you won't mind telling me yours. And what I love about this part of the show too is that it's always something simple, something ordinary, something that shouldn't have been an issue at all. But life will take that small moment and flip it into a whole sermon if you're paying attention. This is the part where we admit the truth didn't come from a crisis or a meltdown or some big emotional revelation. It came from everyday life doing what it does best, exposing something you didn't realize needed exposed. So I swear, it never fails. Every week there's this one moment where life grabs me by the shoulders and says, hey, you're catching this lesson or not. And sometimes it's loud and obvious, but most of the time it slides in quickly. It comes in the form of an inconvenience or a misunderstanding, a person acting sideways, or a situation that makes you step back and go, now, why in the world is this happening today? And the funny thing is It's never the big dramatic stuff that teaches us the most. It's always the moment when you least expect to learn anything at all. The moment where you're just, I don't know, you're just trying to get through the day and suddenly you find yourself face to face with something that you've been avoiding or denying or brushing off as absolutely nothing. But the truth doesn't let you ignore it. It taps you on the shoulder until you finally stop and turn around. That's all there is to it. This week's truth didn't come from anything deep or emotional. It didn't come from someone hurting my feelings or disappointing me. It didn't even come from a relationship or a friend or even a family moment. It came from one of those everyday situations where you walk away thinking, Lord, I have got to talk about this on Tuesday. You know, exactly the kind of moment I'm thinking about. Oh, goodness. Sorry, let me get geared up for this one. But, these are those moments where you try your hardest to stay calm, stay polite, stay reasonable, but situation keeps poking you like it wants to see how far your patience really stretches before it'll snap, right? This is the kind of situation where you question humanity for a second. I'm serious. And it's also the kind of situation that makes you look around for a camera because surely this has to be a prank. It wasn't. And what makes the truth teller tale so fun is that it gives us permission to laugh at the truth before we get serious with it. It gives us a space to look at the absurdity of everyday life and recognize the lesson hiding underneath all the foolishness, because even when the story is funny, y'all, even when it's petty, when it's chaotic, there's always a truth buried inside of it, right? Something we needed to see or admit or stop pretending wasn't happening. And the very moment I tell the story, somebody watching is going to say, oh my God, that happened to me too. Or, yeah, I've been there. Or, been there, done that, I thought I was the only one who felt like that. That's why we do this. Not to embarrass anybody, not to vent. That's why this is my personal story. But it's to shine a light on that shared human experience we all try so hard to hide. So before I jump into the full story, let me set the scene for you. This week's truth didn't kind of sneak up on me. It really ambushed me. It came barreling into my day like it paid for the privilege. Okay. And the wild part is that the situation itself it wasn't big or dramatic or anything at all, really. It was something that should have taken 30 seconds, tops. But instead, it turned into one of those moments where you can literally feel the universe laughing because it knows you're about to learn something whether you want to or not. And the truth that hit me, the one that made me stop right in the middle of what I was doing and say, Lord, have mercy, this is exactly what Tuesday is for. Well, let me tell you, it came wrapped in the kind of ridiculousness that only real life can deliver, truthfully. So, here it is. Bear with me because, yeah, here's my truth teller tale. Gather around. I'm about to tell you the story that almost made me abandon my grocery cart, change my name, maybe even move to another state. Now, y'all, this is Tuesday, Truth Teller Tuesday. It's my day to tell the truth about something that happened to me during the week, something that came out of nowhere and made me question humanity, the price of groceries, my sanity, and whether or not I'm actually as patient as I pretend to be. We already covered that. But this week, y'all, this week tested my every spiritual muscle I have. I'm talking arms, legs, core, neck, everything, okay? I walked out of that store, I walked out of that store feeling like I survived an emotional CrossFit class. Okay. The truth knocked on my door so hard, I wanted to call the cops. So picture this. Okay. It's early in the morning. Not that early. You know, I'm not that kind of person. Just kidding. So it's early in the morning, and I didn't want to get up anyway. Um, I had to get up. I had to get dressed. Had my granddaughter that day. Had to get to the store before, you know, the day just totally grabbed me by the throat. And I'm thinking, let me run in here real quick before people wake up and start acting like they don't have home training or something. Because for some reason, grocery stores bring out the absolute worst in people. Take that from an Instacart driver, okay? Grocery stores are cruel. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't really understand the science behind it, but something about stepping between produce and cereal makes people lose every bit of sense God gave them. True. So I walked in feeling hopeful. Big mistake. Grab my buggy, start pushing down the aisles. And mind you, I have a list this time, every time, okay? Not mental ones, paper, pen, all that. I'm trying to be structured, organized, focused. ADHD brain, I'm on a mission. I got goals. I got things to do. I've got a toddler waiting at home with her peepaw who is somehow both adorable and capable of destroying a room in under 30 seconds. So I need efficiency today. Oh, I need smooth sailing. The store to cooperate with my spirit, but y'all already know that's not what happened. I make it through the first aisle with no problem. And I'm thinking, wow, maybe today's my day. Maybe people evolved overnight. So I turn the corner and I head towards the dairy section. And that's when the universe said, let's have some fun. I'm standing there trying to compare two brands of coffee creamer because inflation is disrespectful. Okay. When suddenly this lady comes barreling down the aisle like she is being spiritually guided by NASCAR. Okay. Bump drafting, all that. She zooms past me with her buggy like she's on a lap 17 at Talladega, nearly clipping my heel. And I'm like, ma'am, are we late to something? Is there a prize at the end of this aisle? Am I missing something? Kmart's gone. There's no blue light specials here. What is the urgency? But before I can even process what's happening, she does the unholy. Okay. She stops her buggy right in the middle of the aisle, the center, dead center. Y'all, like she is the event coordinator for traffic jams. You know what? Do you know what this woman does next? She leaves the buggy right there. Leaves it. Abandons the buggy. Okay. Walks away from it like it's a rental car she didn't take the insurance out on. Don't look back. No, don't look back. Not at all. Doesn't acknowledge me, doesn't say a word, just parks that buggy sideways like she's blocking off a parade route. And I'm standing there, okay? Oh, so this is how today's going to go, right? This is the level of disrespect the world is choosing because now I can't get through. The buggy is blocking both lanes of traffic, and I'm stuck standing there holding my creamer like I'm waiting for a miracle. I didn't know whether to move her buggy, pray over her spirit, or call customer service to report the crime, you know? Nope. The universe wasn't done with me then, though. Not even close. While I'm trying to navigate around said buggy, I see abandoned buggy number 2 around the corner. Okay. This one? Number 2? This one wasn't just abandoned, it was fully loaded. I'm talking a tower of random items that made no sense whatsoever. Oh boy, hi Walt. Good to see you, man. Hope you had a wonderful birthday. Okay, so uh there was yogurt, dog treats, charcoal, children's cough syrup, a lemon, a bottle of wine, a plunger. A plunger. I don't know what kind of night that woman was preparing for, but she clearly had some battles ahead. Now, she too left her buggy in the most inconvenient place possible, directly in front of the butter, the one thing I needed next. Now, I just stared at it for a minute because honestly, I needed to process the layering of foolishness happening in that store. And that's when I realized the universe was sending me a truth. People truly believe the world is in their living room. They do. Let me tell y'all the wildest part about this. While I'm calculating escape routes, trying to pivot my way out of the grocery apocalypse, this man appears behind me out of nowhere and does the lightest sigh I have ever heard in my entire life. Not a cough, not a groan, not a throat clear. No, a sigh. You know that passive aggressive little breath that people do when they're inconvenienced but too scared to actually speak? Yeah, he did that behind me, like I was blocking the aisle. Sir, I am trapped in a grocery store maze created by two grown adults who have clearly never passed a driver's test or a social awareness test. So now I got to turn around and look at this man like, do you see the situation? Do you see the layout of chaos around me? Hmm? Do you understand the geometry involved in escaping this aisle? But no, he does the sigh again. Yeah, second sigh. The second sigh. And that's when the truth hit me. This store is not just filled with inconsiderate people, it's filled with delusional ones. Delusional enough to think sighing at me was going to magically part the Red Sea of buggies, right? Baby, if Moses himself walked into this store, he would have turned around and left. Now, fast forward, okay? Because this story gets worse. Somehow, with determination, a little bit prayer probably, and strategic turning, I managed to maneuver around the chaos for the next few hours, okay? And I'm getting tired. I'm even sweating. I'm questioning my life choices at this point. And then it happens. The moment that broke me. Lord. The moment that sealed the truth of my entire week. I get to the self-checkout. Normally, I love self-checkout because it lets me stay in my lane, right? Mind my business, avoid conversations I'm not emotionally prepared to have. But today, no, today the self-checkout decided to be possessed by the devil himself. Plain and simple. I scan my first item. Beep. Good. I scan my second item. Beep. Great. But when I scan the third item, silence. No beep. No error. No nothing. So I try again. Silence. Again. Silence. The machine refused to acknowledge my existence at this point. And I'm like, baby, this is not the day, okay? I am one incident away from breaking down emotionally and spiritually and grammatically, okay? So I try to flag down the employee who is standing 5 feet away doing absolutely nothing. She looks right at me. I know she saw me. And then she turns around and walks in the opposite direction, like she had a sudden urge to clock out and quit life. That's when I lost my sense of humor, my sense of time, my patience, my courtesy, and my logic. I scanned that item 6 more times like I was reenacting a crime scene. Then the machine finally comes back to life just to tell me that I need assistance. Are you qualified? North. There it is. What was that? Gotta love my internet. All right, back to it. The machine finally did come back to life, okay, just to tell me I needed assistance and after ignoring me. And that, y'all, that is when the truth hit me like a frying pan, okay? People will test your patience, your composure, your restraint, your sanity, your spiritual development in the smallest possible moments, okay? If you don't want to learn how to tell the truth about how irritated you really are, the world will keep serving you these reminders until you snap. So here's the truth of my week. Grocery stores are not just a place to buy food. They are a battlefield of human behavior, a test of character, a spiritual obstacle course designed by the universe to reveal exactly how close you are to losing your mind. And baby, I was close, real close. All right, y'all. Are we about ready to get into these letters? I got 2 good ones, of course. And of course, that's just my opinion, but y'all know. All right. So let's get into this one. We got the bless your heart today. Still, as usual, as always. All right. As long as my internet plays nice. No clue what that was just going on. But so now that we've survived the grocery store saga, and believe me, I'm still limping over it. I'd like to say I kept my dignity intact, but at this point, I'm just not sure. And if I did, there's not much left of it. So let's just shift gears into a part of the show that I hold near and dear to my Southern soul. This is the moment where we pour a little sweet tea over the truth, sprinkle some humor on top of it, and wrap the whole thing up in that famous phrase every Southerner knows how to use better than punctuation. Bless your heart, baby. And it's not judgmental. It's endearing. Okay. So, listen, I need everybody watching to understand something before we go any further. When we say bless your heart, we're not always talking about blessings. Sometimes we are talking about survival or talking about disbelief. Sometimes we're talking about, Lord, give me the strength, right? Because sometimes you just don't want to say what you really want to say. And sometimes, yes, sometimes we are talking about someone who is so far out of pocket, they might as well be in another galaxy. But we say it sweet, right? Right? No, we say it kindly because it softens the blow, even when the blow is absolutely deserved. But the thing I love most about this segment really is the reason I keep it in every single Tuesday lineup now is because bless your heart stories always land somewhere between comedy, tragedy, and hey, a good old fashioned cautionary tale. They're not quite, they're not, I don't know, they're not quite the deep lessons of the gravel road, I guess. They're not really the silly chaos either. We called it funny letter, and I didn't like that. They're the stuff that make you squint a little bit, tilt your head to the side and try to figure out whether the person in the story needs a hug, a nap, or a therapist or a life coach, maybe. the truth is, okay, sometimes the answer is all four, because the world is full of people doing the absolute most with the absolute least amount of sense, right? And God love them. They don't even know it sometimes. But let me tell you what makes this segment special for me. This is where we get to laugh and still learn something. Not a heavy lesson, not the kind that makes you stare at the ceiling at 3 in the morning and question the meaning of life, but the kind that makes you say, well, bless their heart. They really tried. Or maybe bless their heart. I don't know what they were thinking, but they sure made memory. I think my personal favorite one on that one is probably bless your heart. Somebody lied to them and told them they were ready. Not cruel. I'm not trying to be cruel. This is just one of those stories where somebody went out into the world armed with confidence, enthusiasm, and absolutely no plan whatsoever. And they totally wrote to us thinking maybe we would help them make sense of their own decision-making process, even though the decision-making process left the building long before the story started. Before I read this letter to y'all, I want you to get in the right mindset, because bless your heart, stories don't work if you're tense. You got to loosen your shoulders, unclench your jaw, prepare your spirit. Okay. Woosah, woosah. Because this is where we laugh with people, not at them, with them. Remember that. We're going to shake our heads, not because we're judging, but because we've probably been there. And every single one of us has done something at least once in our life that made the angels look down and say, well, bless that child's heart. So don't dare listen to this letter from a place of superiority. Okay. Listen from a place of familiarity. I'm not talking well today. I don't word today. Now, because depending on the day, you might be in the writing of this show. And if that day comes, I promise I'll read your story with the same love and humor and mild disbelief I'm about to pour into this one. So take a sip of whatever you got. I just did. Settle in and prepare yourselves, okay? Because this next one, this is one of those letters that had me rubbing my temples, thanking God for patience and laughing all at the same time. Whoever wrote this meant well, truly. But baby, meaning well and doing well are not the same thing. And when they laid out what they did, how they did, and why they thought it was a good idea, all I could think was, Lord, bless their hearts. So here it is. Dear B, I need you to hold on to something sturdy before you read this, because I already know you're going to make that face. I did. The one where your eyebrows go up, and your glasses drop down your nose. You know that one, don't you? Yes, you do. And you stare at the screen like you're trying to understand a foreign language. True. But I promise you, every single word of what I'm about to tell you actually happened. And I'm writing to you because I genuinely need guidance before I ruin the rest of my life with this, whatever this personality trait is. So here's the truth. B, I decided to fix something in my house that I had absolutely no business touching. You know how some people have the spirit of DIY? Well, I have something more like didn't think it through. Okay. It all started because I saw a video, one of those fast, cheerful tutorials online where somebody in perfect lighting with perfect hair shows you how to fix something in under 30 seconds. And there I was, sitting on my couch with a cup of lukewarm coffee, half listening to the dog bark at the wind, thinking I could do that. That looks easy. Let me tell you right now, that video was a lie, a full-blown glitter-covered lie. Yeah, the video was the lie. Okay. See, my kitchen sink has been dripping for months. Just a soft little plink, 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 like a tiny water torture chamber designed specifically to annoy me. So instead of calling a plumber like a normal functioning adult with sense, I decided I was going to fix it myself. I went to the store with the false confidence that only hits you after watching a 30-second video. And I thought, oh, I'm sorry, and I bought tools I cannot even name. Oh, I'm sorry. Just that one sentence just got me. I don't know why half of them were in my cart. I walked out of that hardware store like I had just built a house on my lunch break. Meanwhile, the most experience I have with plumbing is changing the Brita filter. When I got home, that's when the real chaos began. I watched the video again, and I swear on everything holy, the person said, just loosen this one piece right here. Just loosen this one piece. Like it was nothing. Like it was the lid on a jar of pickles. So I got down on the floor, turned myself into a human pretzel, and grabbed the wrench. I gave the thing one little twist, and the whole sink exploded. Not a leak, not a drip. I mean, a full-on geyser of water blasting straight into my face, into my cabinets, across the floor, and somehow onto the cat who just happened to be walking by. The cat screamed. I screamed. The pipe just kept screaming back at both of us. So now I'm panicking, slipping on the floor. Like I'm yelling at the sink, like, sorry, guys, we've had weather through here and stuff. Okay, so now I'm panicking, slipping on the floor like I'm auditioning for a dance competition I did not sign up for, yelling at the sink like it offended me personally, trying to remember where the shutoff valve is, only to discover that it was stuck, completely stuck. I was pulling that thing like I was trying to start a lawnmower. Meanwhile, the water has now reached the hallway. My socks are soaked, and the dog has started barking at the flood like it owes him money. By the time, hey, Oso, there you are, honey. How you doing? I managed to take a mildly annoying problem and graduate it into a full blown crisis, all because I thought I was the chosen one after watching a stranger fix something in 28 seconds. So now I'm writing to you. Oh, hey, so honey, I sent you an email. I want to get you up on one of my shows during the day if you can, like around this time of the day. Let me know, honey. Just give me that email back when you get a chance. Okay, so now I'm writing to you. Clearly, I'm not to be trusted with tools, decisions, or confidence. I want to do better. I want to make better choices. But every time I think I've learned my lesson, something like this happened and I'm back to square one. Please help me figure out why I insist on tackling things I have no business touching. And please explain how I can grow from this without embarrassing myself again or flooding my house. Signed, a soaked, humbled, and utterly defeated homeowner. Oh, honey, honey, honey. Let's talk. Okay. Oh, bless your heart. Now, see, normally when I say those three little words, it's because, okay, honey, thank you for being here. I totally appreciate that. Okay. Um, you know, oh, this one's crazy. So normally when I say those three little words, it's because somebody did something a little questionable, but forgivable, right? Like microwaving fish at work or buying a white couch. When they have a toddler, that's a big no-no. But you really said, let me go ahead and throw my whole kitchen, my cat, my dignity, and possibly half of my plumbing system into a WWE match with a wrench. Listen, what gets me the most, the part that has me clutching imaginary pearls, I don't even own, okay, is that you did all of this with that blind DIY confidence that only shows up after watching a video made by someone with good lighting, perfect editing, and a sponsorship from a tool company. Bless your heart. Let me start with this. You're not alone. You're not even remotely alone. Okay. There is an entire generation of us who think a 30-second clip instantly makes us qualified to handle trades that require licenses and apprenticeships and humans who know what pipes are. We don't blink. We don't hesitate. We dive straight into chaos with a wrench we can barely hold and a prayer we absolutely should not be saying because even God is up there going, I didn't tell you to do that. Don't put that on me. And you proved that theory because you went into that kitchen with more confidence than tools. And that sink, okay, it rejected you like a bad organ transplant. I'm sorry. You didn't fix anything. You startled the plumbing. It fought back. Now let's walk all the way through this because this wasn't just a plumbing failure. This was a dissertation on your decision-making process. You took something small, a drip, an annoyance, a minor inconvenience, something you could have ignored for months, and you let that irritation trick you into thinking you were chosen by destiny to fix it. No, you let that inconvenience whisper in your ear like a bad influence saying, you got this, and you believed it. You let frustration talk you into thinking you had the hidden skills of a master plumber, just waiting to be unlocked like a household superhero origin story. That's the first hard truth. Just because something is irritating you does not mean you are the one equipped to fix it. Sometimes irritation is the bait, not the assignment. And the universe watches you like, it watches you take that bait like, oh no, look at her. She's about to do it. No. Then there was the hardware store trip. Oh, honey. You marched in there like it was your destiny. You didn't even go in with a list. Okay. You went in with vibes. You walked those aisles, imagining yourself in your own reinvention show. Today, touching things you didn't recognize, picking up tools you couldn't even name, grabbing parts because they looked like they might fit somewhere. Buying tools does not magically give you skills. I can buy a telescope. That does not make me an astronomer. And you know, I love 3i Atlas. I got a live stream of it and solar weather, but I'm not an astronomer. I just like it. You can buy a hammer, a drill. That doesn't give you spiritual authority to install anything, though. No. But you went in there like you were about to repipe the Hoover Dam. Come on. Then came the geyser moment, okay? The one that sent your spirit into the ceiling to observe from above because you twisted that one tiny piece the video told you to twist, and that pipe responded with 20 years of pressure and resentment, okay? Water shot out like it was trying to baptize the whole kitchen. The cat lost all 9 lives at once. The dog, yeah, reconsidered its loyalty contract. and you were sliding across the floor like an exhausted figure skater at the end of a routine. That was not plumbing, guy. That was a natural disaster. The National Weather Service should have issued a warning. But here's where the truth settles in. The entire disaster is rooted in the fact that you do not know how to ask for help. You don't want to bother anyone. I get it. You don't want to look incapable. I get it. You don't want anyone thinking you can't handle something on your own. I get it. But instead of calling someone who literally does this for a living, you said, I'll just learn a whole new trait. What could go wrong? And life, standing off camera, said everything. And listen, there is nothing weak about asking for help. There's not. Nothing weak about saying this is the above my pay grade. There is nothing weak about admitting I don't actually know what I'm doing here. Weakness is pretending you have it under control while water is assaulting your face like an angry sprinkler and your cat is in the background processing trauma. Strength is knowing the moment to put the wrench down and back away. But let me say what I do admire. You tried. You genuinely wanted to fix something. You wanted to improve your space. You wanted to feel capable. That drive, that spark, that effort, that is not something to shame, okay? That is something to guide, because the lesson here is not don't try. The lesson is try the right things with the right skills at the right time. Not everything is meant to be done alone, okay? Not everything is meant to be solved by sheer determination. Some things require expertise, and that's okay. And then we get to the cleanup, which is symbolic as hell. You tried. You were tired, soaked, embarrassed, overwhelmed, and yet you still cleaned it all up. That means you're capable of fixing things. That right there is your pollen into honey, isn't it? Just not the kind of things that involve the entire indoor rainstorm. Okay. You can fix your reactions. You can fix your approach. You can fix the way you act, assess what you can and cannot take on. And you can absolutely fix the habit of turning frustration into a full-blown project. Okay. You never should have started. What you cannot fix is a sink simply because someone online made it look easy in a well-edited video with background music. Here's the truth you actually take home today. When you are tired, irritated, overwhelmed, or fed up, you make decisions from impatience, not wisdom. Impatience will have you twisting pipes, buying tools that you don't need, and convincing yourself you possess skills who absolutely do not. You just don't have them. I'm sorry, you just don't have them. Wisdom will tell you put the wrench down, call the plumber, protect the cat, sit down and think for a minute. One of these paths leads to peace. The other leads to ankle-deep chaos. So, bless your heart sincerely. Not because you failed, not because you messed up, but because you can laugh at yourself, learn from something ridiculous, and grow into someone who makes future decisions from clarity instead of chaos. And next time you want to fix something, start small. Replace a light bulb. Peel a stubborn sticker off the jar. Build confidence that things don't require emergency shutoff valves for, okay? We work up to plumbing one day at a time, baby. Not just, video go. All right? Now listen, as for our gravel road, guys, I didn't find one that I felt was good enough for today. It's just a different vibe. And, we've already used up our hour or two. So I am going to go ahead And before we slide into the outro, I just want to take a second to talk to the folks who've been walking with me, showing up for lives, dropping comments, sharing the show, and helping this little corner of the internet grow the way it has. Because what we're building here isn't just a show, it's a whole community of people who show up for each other in ways that don't always get in their real lives, you know? And I feel that. I see that. And I appreciate it more than I can ever say in a 30-second soundbite. Every time one of you hits that like button or shares a clip with somebody who needs a laugh or a truth or a reminder that they matter, you're helping us grow something. And it feels bigger than entertainment to me. It feels like home. Okay. It feels like people finding people. And you already know Ask a Bee isn't just something I do for content. This is where we pour out the real stuff, where we laugh about the ridiculous moments, they just would have broken us 10 years ago. We talk about the things we don't always feel safe saying out loud, where we tell the truths we've been holding in our chests for years because we didn't have anybody who would sit still long enough to listen. So if today hit you in a place where you didn't expect, if something in the truth teller segment or the bless your heart moment made you feel seen, then don't disappear after this. Okay. Don't sit in silence the rest of the week. You send me your letters. Send one to Big Jack. Send one to Mama Lions. Send us your stories. Send us the stuff you think nobody would understand, because trust me, someone here does. That's the whole point of this. And for the ones who've been thinking about sending something in, but convincing themselves their problems aren't important enough or funny enough or deep enough, I'm telling you right now, if it's sitting heavy on you, if it's spinning around in your head at night, even if it's something you wish somebody would finally finish, just help you make sense of, then it's important enough. You don't have to polish it. You don't have to make it cute. You don't have to know how to say anything the right way, really. Just send it. I'll read it. I'll meet you right where you are. And we'll walk through this together. The same way we walk through everything else on this show, with honesty, humor, grace, and a little bit of country fried common sense, Sorry, the trash men are coming through now. It's Tuesday. I should call this Trash Tuesday, huh? And you know what? Don't forget, if you're watching this live or catching the replay, the best way that you can help this little show grow is by liking the video, sharing the link, and inviting someone who is going through something. Every time one of y'all does that, it pushes this show into somebody else's feed who didn't even know they needed it. And let me tell you something. You have no idea how many messages I get from people who found the show just because one of you shared it. It means something. It matters. You're not just pressing buttons. You're planting seeds. And guys, don't forget, my memberships are back, okay? And to my folks who have been asking about merch, yes, 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 the store is open. The store is open. It's in the ticker. Make sure you go over there and get it, because I'm telling you, this stuff is awesome. It is absolutely awesome. We have all kinds of t-shirts. We've got mugs. We've got more stuff coming. And I'm going to get you that link right now. Now, it feels like, family, when your shirts are out there, and like my plus sister, she wears a BBTV shirt, and that just makes me so happy. I love that. I love seeing y'all in the chat thinking about it. I know you're thinking about it, buying it. I know I'm sitting here with the shirt on all the time. And listen, I keep doing this every day. So whether you're here for laughs, the truth, the tears, the chaos, and advice, or just because you think hearing me talk, nobody likes hearing me talk, thank you for being a part of this. You're keeping this whole thing alive. All right. Listen, I'm going to leave y'all with one more thing, and then I'm going to say goodbye. Before we close today, let me leave you with this blessing. May peace find you exactly where you are, not where you think you should be. May God quiet your storm swirling around in your mind and steady every shaking place inside your heart. And you know what? May strength rise in you before the sun even hits your window tomorrow. And may clarity come quicker than the chaos that tries to distract you. Most of all, may you remember that you are never walking any of this road alone. God's already in your tomorrow, clearing paths you don't even know you needed. So breathe, rest, and go in grace. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye bye.